I hope you're having a great Sunday. Well, over the last couple of days, we've been talking about intermittent fasting being done the right way, which means intermittent fasting in line with your circadian rhythm. So, what we did is from last Sunday till this Sunday, myself and a lot of people across the world got together on social media to decide how intermittent fasting with our circadian rhythms would help us. So we chose to finish our dinner by 6:30 before sunset. So depending on the country you live in, depending on your time zone, everyone figured out what time they need to finish their dinners. And we've had 7 days of eating early dinners consecutively. You know, some people do it on 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, but we wanted to see with consistency what we could achieve and how we could feel. So what we did is we finished our dinner at 6:30, and in the morning you usually wake up by about 5 or 6:30 and you're still not hungry. So you can either choose to break your fast, which means you do a beautiful 12 hours comfortably. If you're not hungry, you do 13. If you're not hungry, you do 14. But here's what we discovered, and here's what the feedback is that poured in from across the world, the people who had done this. Number one, the first 1 or 2 days, if you tend to sleep late at night, you start feeling hungry, obviously, by about 10:30, 11. And we need to understand that that is normal, because when your body's awake, especially when it's nighttime, your body thinks you need energy. It doesn't know that you're going to plan your sleep in the next 1 or 2 hours, but you're awake. So the survival mechanism of the body knows it needs fuel. So it'll give you a hunger craving or a hunger pang, and then we eat. But the first 2 or 3 days, you get over that hunger pang easily. You go to sleep, you wake up, and you eat your breakfast the next morning. Now, these are the commonalities that we found out. Number one, you sleep better. You sleep better, and there's so much of common sense. You don't need scientific research. You don't need to, do this research on mice and rats like everything is done and, overhyped up in our world today. You sleep better because if you finish your meal by 6:30, you've digested every bit of your meal by the time it's bedtime for you. So you go to bed with a completely empty stomach, your body's finished its digestion process, and you sleep beautifully. Now imagine someone eats a heavy meal, okay, and sleeps within 1 hour of eating that meal. While you're already in your sleep, your carbohydrates are breaking down, your proteins and fats. What happens when the body breaks down carbohydrates? Energy. So as some people wake up or they move into a lighter cycle of sleep. So if you eat a heavy meal, you will never sleep deeply. You may sleep, but it's not about how much you sleep, it's the quality of sleep. So the first thing we notice is that we sleep better. Okay, you fall asleep, you get into a deep sleep, and you automatically wake up in the morning without the requirement of an alarm. So you've basically aligned your eat-sleep cycle and your sleep-wake cycle with your circadian rhythm. So you have nature working for you, and you have the intelligence of your body responding to nature's cycle, which is the circadian rhythm. Number two, and I like this, a lot of people spoke about their morning sugar levels being at its lowest. And this is fantastic. It makes so much of common sense. You have a heavy meal at nighttime, your blood sugar levels are going to be all over the place in the morning, because if there's anything that we need to learn as human beings, which is the fundamental of health, is the human body is not designed to digest your food at night, especially late night. The human body doesn't have the ability to. Maybe your social life makes you want to eat, but you got to remember your body's not supporting you in any way. Okay, at night, the body basically decreases its digestive functions. You stop producing digestive enzymes because at nighttime, once we start producing melatonin, the body gets the signal to start repair work, cleanup work, detoxification, hormonal balance. It has no interest in digestion of food. So when we have a late meal, you are actually putting your body into overdrive of having to break down meals, which is why people who eat late at night go to sleep. They have indigestion, they have acidity, they have constipation, high blood sugar levels, they wake up feeling tired instead of energetic, they're sluggish. They have all of these problems only because you didn't respect the mechanism of the human body. So we saw digestion getting better. We saw people's acidity falling. We saw people's constipation literally disappearing, and in some cases getting better. Okay, then what else we noticed was when you wake up after doing this in the morning, you literally have a flat stomach. Your body looks so different because you're not retaining water. A lot of people wake up puffy in the morning because your late night meal, which obviously had salt, you retain more water, you didn't have complete digestion. But when you have an early meal, you have all that time to break down all the food that you ate. So you wake up looking leaner. You wake up without puffiness on your face, puffiness in your body. You don't wake up with that bloated feeling only by eating your dinner earlier, only by following the natural cycle that is inbuilt in us. And when we align our cycle with nature, nature works for us. We don't have to make health complicated anymore. We made it complicated because we choose to use unnatural lifestyles. So now coming to people who work in shifts. doctors, pilots, employees, all of that stuff. You don't have to worry about it. All you need to do is find out if your bedtime is going to be in the morning at 9 o'clock after a night shift. You want to stop eating at least 4 hours before. So the same cycle of eating, it may not be aligned to the sunrise and sunset, but at least follow the rule of having nothing before you sleep at least 4 hours before, and that's still going to work for you in some way. Okay, so you can be having night shifts and all of that stuff, but you still want to observe the rhythm. If you have a night shift, you're going to sleep at 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning. Simple, 4 hours before that you stop eating. So you plan your entire routine, your schedule. Everything comes down to planning, and it can be done. If you're a student studying late at night and all of that stuff, which you have to, I understand. You may need to eat, you need energy for your brain, concentration, studying. That's not a problem, but have an earlier dinner. And the beauty of this fasting, the beauty of this cycle of eating early is you can have a normal dinner. You don't have to do soups, you don't have to do salads, you don't have to eat like you're on a diet. You have a beautiful meal, you have your carbs, you have your fats, you have your protein, so you're not dieting because you have enough of time for your body to break it down, and you're using the circadian rhythm and nature's cycle to help you process all the food. So on some of these days, I even had a dessert after my food. I had a couple of pieces of chocolate, one night I had an ice cream, and you wake up lean beautifully because your body's working for you. How can we get our body's intelligence to work for us is the future. We don't need more complication. We need more simplicity, not more complication. So whether you're a student, whether you're a pilot, an air hostess, a purser, working in shifts, you're in the security forces or whatever it is, you can still align your rhythm to this by just maintaining the rule of not having anything in your system 4 hours before your sleep time. And this will work for you. Now, of course, we have excuses, we have choices, we have all of that stuff. It comes down to one thing, self-discipline. Now, I have a busy day. I see patients throughout the day. I come home in the evening. The US wakes up, so I have to talk to patients in the night because of time zones and stuff like that. But I figured an entire work week, okay, eating at 6:30. Where there's a will, there's a way. Or we have excuses. Everyone has an excuse. If this is really important to you, you do it. It's how you prioritize what you want to do. I had a couple of social events to go to. Okay, I chose not to go for many of them because I didn't want to break the cycle. My life's still the same. I missed a couple of social events. Nothing's really changed. My self-esteem is in place. My self-confidence is in place. Everything's in place. It's as simple as that. So, we got to stop fooling ourselves with all these false obligations that we have towards society and stuff. You can have the best social life. Eat your dinner and go out. It's as simple as that. And even if you eat a dinner and go out and you must eat, then you can just have a couple of snacks, nuts, seeds, something like that in case you're hungry. But again, you're still respecting the cycle of not having a heavy meal. It may not be a fast, it may not be a 12, 13 or 14 hour fast, but at least you're eating light before your bedtime. I think the worst destruction of society are the late nights coupled with late food. So you have sleep deprivation and you have indigestion. These are the worst things for human health. It's the worst things for your immune system, whether you talk about diabetes, cardiovascular, cancer, or anything. Today you wake up to an article in the newspapers in the Times of India talking about an insane statistical growth of cancer, and people wonder why. There's no need to wonder why anymore and wait for researchers to tell you why, because no one's researching what's causing cancer. It is your lifestyle. You need to understand it is poor lifestyle. The only thing that's going wrong in the world right now is poor lifestyle, and that's why we have an increasing amount of disease. So the choice is yours, especially senior citizens out there, people, who are sick and stuff like that. Please start eating your dinner earlier. I promise you, it's a fantastic drug and medicine. Some of you may be on medication that you need to take before sleep and stuff. Respect that. Listen to your doctors. Do all of that stuff. But if you slowly start respecting your digestive system, the one self-defense mechanism that you boost, that is everything in the human body, is your immune system. You have a stronger immune system by having an earlier dinner, building a normal fasting cycle. And the beauty is, you don't have to confuse your life anymore. There are so many people intermittent fasting and they put themselves into a box of 16 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours. One day they start at 9 in the night, next day they start at 1 in the morning, one day they start at 7 in the evening. You're not fasting. You've just confused your biological clock. You want to keep the same cycle. So by having an early dinner, you wake up, enjoy your breakfast if you're hungry, go work out, start your day. But so many people are stressed out with intermittent fasting because then in between their work day, they're looking at their watch. Oh, I need to break my fast. Now, what should I break my fast with? What should I do? Unnecessary stress. Respect the cycle of the human body and your life automatically falls in place. You wake up 12 hours later, have a great breakfast. That 12 hours was more powerful for you than 16 and 18 hours because you maintained a cycle. I'm not saying 16 to 18 hours is not powerful for you, but if you're doing it at a different time every day, you're out of your circadian rhythm. You're out of your biological clock. You're just doing it as a fad, and fads don't work. Fads will harm you, and fads will make you sicker. Okay, so whether you're acidic, you're diabetic, or whatever, start off with small fasts. The simplest way is start off with an early dinner, and then you ease yourself into 12 hours or 13 hours or 14 hours. You may do this thrice a week. It's better than not doing it at all. I'm not saying you have to do this every day. And the beauty is, what we've learned from this is the next day your energy levels are soaring in the morning. You don't need that caffeine, you don't need that tea and all of that stuff. There's nothing wrong with it if you have it the right way. The second thing is your appetite automatically falls. You find that your portion sizes are lesser throughout the day. Cravings of sugar automatically decreases. Why? There's no science involved. It's just that your body's cleaner. Your body wakes up cleaner, detoxified, and you don't have these cravings. An unhealthy body craves more junk. A cleaner body craves more wholesome foods like fruits, nuts, seeds, and foods that nature's given us. So hit the reset button. Hit the reset button, align yourself with nature, and you don't have to become health obsessed. Let nature work for you. Let the intelligence that you're built with works for you. We need less complication and more simplicity. So right now, let's launch a challenge for the next 1 week. Whoever's in, have an early dinner. Wake up in the morning, choose to have your breakfast, listen to your body. Don't look left, right, and see whoever's doing 18, 16, 15 hours. You do what suits you. You may do 9 hours, great. Try for 10, try for 11, try for 12. Ease into it. Everyone is different. Comparison robs you of everything. Comparison makes you miserable. Don't compare yourself with other people. Your body's different. Everything in you is different from other people. So start off with an early dinner. Do it for a week to realize how powerful it is. And this allows you to be a little bit liberal with a dessert here and there. Today, people just eat one dessert and they go through guilt for the rest of the day. They're stressed out and all that nonsense. Unnecessary. Enjoy your food. Your body is intelligent enough to break down an ice cream, break down a chocolate, all of these things if we don't abuse our body with it. So try this. The challenge starts this evening. Get your dinner done by 6:30 to 7, depending on sunset in your place. Go through an entire night. Try to get to bed on time. Get a good amount of sleep. Wake up tomorrow morning. Have a decent breakfast if you want to, or break your fast the right way, and get into the cycle for a week. And you will find this is one of the most powerful drugs that exist in your planet. It will help you prevent the onset of most diseases. And if you are seriously sick, it can also begin the healing process and the recovery process. And the elderly and senior citizens out there, please understand that the less you eat without starving, you are going to have much better health. Please do not fall into the trap that our generation has made, snacking mindlessly, eating more food and all of that stuff. It is not necessary. Listen to your body. If you're hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Just learn to have the wisdom to determine between emotional hunger and physical hunger. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.